Hello everybody and welcome to Power Level 10. Today I will be doing a Mutants and Masterminds power build at Power Level 10, replicating Izuku Midoriya in the early arcs of My Hero Academia. Before he mastered shoot style, he just had his body, his wits, and his smashes. With 150 points in this early form of Deku, we will have no problem replicating his simple power spread. First is his ability scores. Izuku has trained his physical body to a crazy level for a kid his age. His physical abilities should be great. With how sharp he is in general, his mental abilities aren't behind at all either. If only he could just learn to talk to people better. He's either vomiting up his feelings all at once to his guy friends or stammering at his girlfriends.
Strength 5, Agility 5, Fighting 7, Awareness 5, Stamina 7, Dexterity 5, Intellect 5, Presence 0.
All that already costs 78 out of our budget of 150 points. Next comes skill bonuses. His battle intuition is second to none and he's good at reading people's feelings. Insight plus 10 and Perception plus 10, a total cost of 10 points. 88 out of 150 spent. It's time for the fun stuff. Powers. His signature attack is the Detroit Smash, a highly damaging move that has no problem blowing away either a single target or a crowd. The only downside is that it breaks his arm whenever he uses it.
Detroit Smash. Damage 10. Extras. Area Cylinder. Penetrating at 10 ranks. Flaws. Side effect. Disabled limb. Costs 15 points.
In other words, it's a really powerful, penetrating area attack, but if you use it once, that limb you used it with is done. Technically, Disabled just gives you a -5 penalty with that limb. Doesn't make it unusable, but you're probably going to be avoiding that steep -5 penalty by using other limbs. Use aim and power attack to make it hurt and make it count. You only get one shot at this, but whatever it is will be hurting afterwards, which is good because so will you. For smaller problems comes his Delaware Smash. This time he can hit a single target at range. Although it's not as instantly disarming, overuse of this attack will result in his limbs quickly becoming useless flapping windsocks.
Delaware Smash. Damage 10. Extras. Either increased range or some levels of reach. Penetrating 5. Flaws. Side effect. A -1 impairment in your limb per use. Maximum of 5 results in a disabled limb. You'll notice that this flaw is -1 instead of 2 because it's weaker. Costs 15 points, but because it's an alternate effect under the Detroit Smash array, it's only going to cost 1 point. Reminder that if you use the ranged extra, this attack will require dexterity in order to hit the target, while reach still uses fighting. Using reach will complicate the power costs, however, so we're sticking with ranged for now.
Izuku only got use out of One for All without breaking anything a few times, and in those occasions was when he didn't actually connect with anyone. For a slight damage boost and a little reach, see the Air Smash. In this case, the damage ranks and reach ranks are fairly interchangeable.
Air Smash. Damage 7. Extras. Reach 5. Area 1, a shape of your choice, and Selective 1 as a treat. 15 points, but again, it's an alternate effect, so it only costs 1 point. Feature. Hero Notes. 1 point. Izuku will often study the habits of heroes and villains alike. As a free action, roll an insight check versus the target's will check. Success allows you to potentially gain a +2 circumstance bonus against an enemy's next attack if you've seen them perform it before, or possibly allow the GM to telegraph it to you if it's an NPC's action. If this seems like too much, then GM limit it to once per encounter or raise the price. Movement. Whether for vertical distance or horizontal distance, Izuku's One for All allows him to leap into battle at a cost to his legs. Leaping. Rank 6. Side effect. Disabled limb. The total cost is 2 points. Buy this flaw off later, please, or immediately even. Can be used for single-bound horizontal movement and big jumps. It may not seem like it, but all those nerfs mean we've only bought 20 points worth of powers. 108 out of 150 spent. With not a lot of powers to rely on, Izuku will need to use his abilities and strategies to defeat his enemies most of the time. I've selected a dozen advantages that'll help you be the best hero you can be. Move by action. Essential for everyone, in my opinion. Improved aim. Necessary for clever battling. Power attack. Great for big attacks like during the battle trial. Accurate attack. Give some good options, and Izuku's clever, so it fits. Defensive attack. Same as above. Assessment. He is always assessing heroes and villains alike. Fast grab. Used like once versus Shinzo, but it's useful since grabs are good. Extraordinary effort. He's usually exhausted at the end of a fight, so this could save your bacon. Improved critical 4, Detroit Smash. We are hoping for maximum impact. Improved initiative 2 or more. Heroes need to jump in quick to save the day. Remember, sometimes your body moves before your mind does. Add as many as you like. Luck 3. As many ranks as your GM lets you buy. Izuku's lucky to survive Season 1, honestly, let alone factoring in the luck of his inheritance of One for All. Skill Mastery. Insight, Perception, and Athletics. Uncanny Dodge. His dodging of Bakugo in the battle trial was good. So that's 21 points on advantages. It's a lot to remember, so keep a notepad handy. All added up, we've spent 129 out of our budget of 150 points. I will also suggest some amount of the holding back advantage. You have to spend a hero point and you still take a complication, probably long-term injuries, but getting +4 power levels is both thematic and awesome. Modular Izuku. I feel like this build is pretty fitting for Izuku. It gives him a pretty tight and flavorful build with plenty of option besides just smashing the enemy into dust. But with 21 extra points burning a hole in our pocket, it might be best to upgrade some weaker parts of the build for a better player experience. It's less thematic, but making the leaping power actually useful is a good start. Remove the side effect flaw, and now you can bolt across the field at your leisure. Leaping 6 costs 6 points instead of 2. Shoring up some of your lesser defenses is always smart. We have points to spare, so we can be expensive here, but cheap is an option too. For the expensive option, buy a combination of stamina, fighting, agility, and awareness. Your last few points can be split between dodge directly and willpower. If instead you just boost the defenses for the cheap option, then do stamina, parry, dodge, and will. You could boost your strength, but that would defeat the purpose of the Smash Array. You might be inclined to buy off some of the disadvantages of your Smash Array instead, which would make it much less flavorful, but it'll also make it more useful in situations. By throwing more points into the array, you can buy Detroit Smash's side effect down by 1 stage, instead requiring maybe a fortitude check to avoid being disabled. That trickles down to the rest of the array, giving you 10 more points for your Air Smash. You could try adding an area extra to Air Smash, so you don't have to rely only on Detroit Smash to hit multiple targets. You could also put partial ranks in it, like Area 5 Selective 5 for a weaker hit with more fine control. Whatever you choose, you should be capped off now. Say hello to your Izuku Midoriya build. He can jump, he can smash, and his stats will keep him afloat until he can get better control of his powers. For future development, the best thing you can do is max your defenses, power effect ranks, and hit chance. Always keep the bread and butter topped off. After that, prioritize buying off the flaws on your useful powers so they're always useful. When you've fully mastered your power, buy some new good powers like speed to show you've mastered your body and build. Izuku gets some new and altered abilities in the form of his shoot style, which would also naturally come with a higher power level, but that's beyond the scope of this mission. Thank you for watching, and remember, weaknesses are fun and interesting to work around, so smile in the face of danger and try to have fun with it.